Welcome everybody to today's discussion. My name is Paul Wise. I am the Innovations and Services Development Leader for GE Vernova's Steam Power Services, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Simon Glover, who is the head of our European and Middle East Services business. For today's discussion, we're going to be focusing on coal power and coal power operators, how we at GE Vernova Steam Power are adapting and partnering with our customers as we go through the energy transition and we deal with the energy trilemma to provide reliable, sustainable and affordable fuel and power for communities around the world. That will drive a different mix, an energy mix across renewables, across carbon-free nuclear power, as well as a need to continue with gas and coal power in the fossil space for years to come. So given that environment, Simon, what are you seeing happening today in the market?
Well, in the context of the decarbonisation agenda, coal is still playing a crucial part in terms of that power energy supply. By 2050, we expect power demand to increase by 50%. In 2030, we expect power demand to be 25% provided by coal power still. So coal assets with our customers in those markets are still crucial elements to provide that reliable, secure, available energy. The reliability and the security of supply has become ever more critical in the context of the geopolitical situation that many countries find themselves today. That's driving an extra imperative on being able to respond and have those coal assets available when we need them. Very much driven by changes in the fuel supply dynamics, supply chain security, changing energy dynamics in terms of electricity prices. And what we see in the markets is this is very country specific, less of a globalization topic that we saw in terms of the markets and the agenda of previous generations, and much more focus on the security, reliability of supply within a country. And each of our markets is seeing different drivers in that respect. So for example, it very much relies on what is the percentage of the coal power generation today. You take a country like Poland, 70% of the power generation in Poland today is driven by coal, and we expect that to still continue out to 2050 and beyond. If you look at South Africa, 80% of the power today coming from coal power, and we expect that to stay at 40-50% still way out to 2040 and beyond. So these are crucial assets in our customers' portfolio, providing essential power demand to supply that increased demand for energy going forwards. Today in the US, as an example, 20% of the power is generated by coal. A lot of the coal plants have retired, but the critical coal assets that are required to support the renewables build out, that really maintains a critical element in each of the geographies. And as Steam Power within GE Vernova, we're committed to providing those resources and skills to maintain reliable, secure, available power going forward.
Yeah, I think you make a really important point there about just the difference in terms of the path and the timing for coal operators over the years to come. I think what I'm hearing from customers is that flexibility is absolutely key. And we're looking at how we partner with the customers on their different assets, even within the same customer and the fleet that customer owns. You see different timing. So some units will continue to run at base load for a number of years. Some other units may go through cycling or even into cold reserve and standby. Other customers are looking at how they do conversions, so gas conversion in terms of firing. I think from our perspective, the ROI model, the return on investment model, has changed given this environment and those different timings and paths that customers will take. The operators are looking at changing maintenance rhythms, changing maintenance timings. So how are we at Steam Power Services evolving our service offerings given that environment?
The key word for me there is agility. In terms of the markets, our customers and our governments in those countries need to have the flexibility, as we said, in terms of reliability, in terms of availability and security. Very different dynamics, as we said, in the market, depending where we are in the world. And therefore, as a service provider, we need to be able to adapt very quickly to those changing conditions, to those changing requirements from our customers. So where we're focusing is really in terms of that adaptability, flexibility, agility in the services that we're providing, and really emphasizing the importance of having the right skills, the right teams in the right place at the right time. And what that needs to be key is the partnership that we have with our customers going forward in terms of transparency of planning and recognizing those plans will change over time, but a good level of interaction, intimacy between us and our partners, our customers, those power plant assets, each one in its own particular dynamics. From our investment point of view, that means investing in our field service resources. This is where, when we open up the hood on the turbine, we need the skills there to be able to react to that. Customers are needing to be able to adapt their investments in the individual plants on a short time scale. That's the realities of the environment we're all working within today. There, from a steam power point of view, we need to be able to mobilize at short notice. We need to be able to reduce the cycle for our parts supply. We need to be able to reduce the cycle for performing the repairs on the equipment where they're needed. I mean, as an example, we've done a couple of really notable investments in our repairs capability, improving our ability to supply generator parts and repairs, for example, which is one of the more critical components that we see for the longer term in terms of maintenance. That's in our facility in Bucharest, but we also have similar facilities in our different repair centres around the world. Typically, we're decreasing the scope of work that we're doing on each of these maintenance events. And that's again in partnership with our customers in terms of right sizing the activity for that particular plant's needs. Each one of those having a different operating profile. You mentioned, for example, it's not a one-size-fits-all as traditionally we might have had in the past. So making sure we can adapt not only our responsiveness, but the scope of work to that particular maintenance event. Making sure that we can react to any emergent or extra work that's identified during that event in a rapid way to make sure we're able to meet that reliability and secure power generation that we talked about before. Just in the last few weeks, we've responded to a number of unplanned events. And these are critical times for those customers requiring to get those power generation back online, where security and availability, as you mentioned at the start, is most critical. So from a GE Vernova steam power point of view, we're committed to supporting each of those customers in each of those geographies, each of those power plants, with our core OEM technology capability. As we know, established over many, many years, we retain those skills, retain that expertise, and we're committed to doing that for each of our customers as those needs going forward.
So, I mean, clearly planning is more important than ever. And that's driving even closer collaboration between our teams and the customers' maintenance teams, even down at the plant and the site level, to really understand the scopes and the outages and their duration. You make a great point about our fast response capability and the investments that we're making there. Clearly, we need to deliver that speed with safety and quality as our priority. But I think this is where one of the powers of being an OEM comes into play. You know, we have the experience and the knowledge and the capability, not only on the technology and its application, but that understanding across our entire fleet. And we can bring that to bear as we start to try and develop new solutions and new ideas. We can also leverage the fact that Steam Power Services is part of the GE Vernova power family, and therefore we can leverage our teams across the transition space to really help and support that path for each of the individual assets and for each of the individual customers. So, you know, as I think forward, you can count on us to help develop and realize your strategy for your coal assets. And we'll look to support and bring creative offerings across that space over the years to come.